welcome to Stay Paid. Today we are answering your burning questions in real estate, business, marketing, and more. On these episodes, we take live calls from listeners of Stay Paid. If you want to have your question answered live on the show, make sure to follow us on Instagram at Stay Paid Podcast. Send us your message there, or you can go to remindermedia.com/ask, and we will get you scheduled here on the show. My name is Josh Stike, Chief Marketing Officer at Reminder Media, joined as always by Luke Acree, President of Reminder Media, and from the Acree Brothers Realty team, founder and team lead Stephen Acree, and Director of Sales, Cody Smith. We are going to bring on Megan now, calling from North Carolina, I believe. Megan, how are you? Welcome.
I'm good. How are you? I have a bunch of questions, so I'm going to try to consolidate it as best as I can. So I am an insurance agent and a home organizer, and it happened by mistake. It just happened where one day I'm going in, because I'm very much a kitchen table kind of agent. So I'm going into people's homes. I'm sitting there, I'm eating dinner with them. I go to their sink. I start putting their dishes away, and I reorganize their pantry by the time I leave. And it just
Megan,
I
think that's a problem.
So,
I think you have a problem. You need to go
how.
to Home Organizers Anonymous.
No, that's why my friends love me to come over. So it's one of those things that, but it's something that I love to do, because I think they're synonymous. I think it goes hand in hand. When you have your home in order, it helps you to get your life in order, kind of deal, and it just kind of opens doors. You know, everybody has a block somewhere. So my question is, I'm planning to grow my business more so. Like I said, I'm very much a hands-on person, so it's more so through meeting people, through in-person magazine distribution, through Reminder Media, and just meeting local businesses, especially real estate agents and mortgage brokers and moving companies. So I could kind of put the home organization and insurance needs, because it's life needs and some type of home organization needs at the same time.
Okay.
So how would you structure something like this so it compounds into long-term relationships? Because I also kind of want to network these people together, because real estate agents need movers, and movers need more, and then they need mortgage brokers. So I kind of want to be the connector between these people as well. So I kind of want to instill long-term relationships with my clients and long-term relationships with the businesses that I work with. How can I do something like that and turn it into more like a referral and a networking business, instead of just this, big hustle all the time?
Yeah, great question. It's so timing wise, it's so good.
Apropos.
Yeah, there you go. Apropos. That's why I need Josh. He's the one that knows the big words. Yeah. We just interviewed the CEO of BNI. So BNI is a business network international. They have, 11,000 chapters all over the country. And BNI, for those who don't know,
350,000 members.
Yeah, it's crazy. They basically, form little groups in these, local areas. And it's one business per group. So one electrician, one contractor, one real estate agent, one home cleaner, organizer. Yeah. And the purpose of the group is to share referrals. And so I would really point you to, how do you get involved with a networking group that gets you access to all these other local businesses? BNI would be a great place, or you can start your own, type, networking group. Now, the way you do it strategically is the Gary Vaynerchuk model, which is, if you want to get off the hustle model, get on the Gary Vaynerchuk, which is jab, 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 right hook, which is give before you take. And the saying I always give to people is, if you want to get a lot of referrals, you have to be a great referrer. Right. And so how many times are you referring business to these other local businesses, and what are you doing to help promote them? And so to be that local connector, there's a couple ways I would do it. I'd start a networking group. I would go and start meeting these other business owners for cups of coffee to get to know them, and then start promoting them. So a really easy one that a lot of people do is they'll interview them on a podcast. So you could start a podcast. You could go live every week on your Instagram and Facebook with the local real estate agent, the local financial advisor, the local home, contractor or whatever. And you're promoting them on your Facebook, on your, Instagram page. You could take it to the next level, create a little community group of local businesses, kind of like the local Angie's List or the local Next Door page. And you could be the monitor of that Facebook group where you are, getting these local businesses in. But it all starts with going, okay, let me make a list of my ideal targets. So all the local real estate agents that I want to reach out to, all the local cleaners, the local contractors, whoever you want to network with, and then going, okay, now let me do some outreach campaigns to them. But I would really encourage you, the best way to do it is through networking. And so I would join a B&I group and get that list together. Does that make sense what I'm saying?
No, absolutely. Absolutely. And I was thinking about something similar, like when on my webpage, having like a page that has like local referrals and stuff, and maybe starting some type of newsletter or some way that allows people to advertise or something along those lines if I'm offering services. Plus, I just tend to be a person that if I walk into a place and I'm like, oh yeah, I was just in so-and-so's office, and, do you know so-and-so? And I kind of do wind up connecting people naturally. I've
you're a
always been
connector by
that
nature.
person that kind of connects people. And yeah, so it does feel natural. Like, but it's like, but it's all in my head. So I need to put it in a place that, people can actually see and be tangible.
You're answering your own question. You're literally identifying the problem. The problem is not the ability. The problem is just the system. So you got to get it out of your head into a sheet of paper, really an Excel doc or a CRM. And then from there, you've got to do exactly what you've already said, which is start an outreach campaign to that list, which is great. So it's really just what's going to make you take the time to get it out of your head into a system. What's holding you back from that?
Yeah. I guess I keep on thinking I need to like literally walk in and shake these people's hands just to I like putting a face to a name. I'm not like an over the phone person. I think I come across better in person than I do over the phone,
That's perfectly
Sometimes.
fine. Have you made a list though
Not all
of the
the time,
businesses
but
that you want to
sometimes.
partner with?
And that's another thing. I feel like I'm a transient. Like, half the time I'm in one part of North Carolina, another time I'm in the other half. So it's kind of like, it's like which area do I want to focus on? Because there's one area that is like a smaller kind of neighborhood that I feel like they need it more. And then the other area is like Charlotte. You know what I mean? So Charlotte, I think, has probably so many of these networks, and they probably have so many existing relationships, where the other area is like it's kind of a small town that I think they actually need somebody like me to come in and like kind of connect the dots for them. But it's like, okay, which one do I want to put more of my energy to? That I think that's what's kind of holding me back a little bit.
Yeah, choose the small town. That's just a paralysis by analysis. You know what I mean? It's you've got to make a decision and execute, because you'll learn the most through iteration, as you know, right? You're in business, so you know this. It's like you'll never be a perfect decision, but as you make the decision, you will learn whether or not you made it correctly or not. And so I would encourage you is you got to pick the zone. You've already said it out here, so I'm going to encourage you, pick the small zone that needs you more. Then build the list, get that into the CRM, then do the outreach, which for you, God bless you. You want to go see people face to face, which is beautiful. So go door knock and meet all those people face to face. And then get an email drip going and get a Facebook Live going. You could start a podcast and start promoting them, and then see if there's a local B&I chapter in that little community that you can join. And right there, those are enough action items to keep you busy for the next day. And then after that, I'm just kidding, everybody, maybe the next week. Okay. I'll give you a week to do it, but go execute on that and then see the results. How many of these people have referred me? How many relationships have I built? And then from there, iterate and basically go, okay, is this scaling or is it not scaling? What is missing from this? But you're kind of stuck in, I hate to tell it to you, but you're stuck in, it's like, you know exactly what to do. You're just not doing it. And you're not doing it because you're afraid you're making the wrong decision.
Yeah.
And the only way to make the right decision is to make a freaking decision and then figure out what the data tells you after the fact.
Is to make a decision, right? And figure out if it's right or wrong after.
Exactly.
Thank you. No, oh yeah, sometimes you need somebody else to tell you.
That's why we all have Luke in our
Thank
lives.
you,
Yeah.
man. No, I
We all
love
need a
that.
little
Thank
Luke
you.
in our lives.
No, for sure. And sorry for the delay back and forth. I know there's a big delay here. It's almost like we're talking to you. You remember the old news where it's like they're in war-torn Africa
Yeah,
or
the
something. It's like
journalist is
they're
standing
waiting there for
awkwardly.
30 seconds. So sorry about that, Megan. But here's what I would tell you
they're
is
just standing there smiling.
that's exactly right. That's how it feels. So here's what I would tell you is you are self-identifying what you need to do. I don't know the metrics of your business, and we don't have time in this call to go over all the metrics. But the one boss we all have is the profit, right? And so as you build out these structures and you go execute on this whole being the connector, networking where the business flows through, how do you know if it's working or not working? That's your economic model that you always have to then refer back to, which is I started networking. I went to BNI. I started all these things Luke said. Is it working or not? Well, how many deals came from that? How much did that cost me to get those deals? Am I profitable on that? If I'm not, what needs to be adjusted? But don't discount the idea and tactic if it's not up against the profitability, because that's where a lot of people get on a weird I don't know what you call it, like hamster wheel or weird like cycle where they're testing out a ton of different ideas, but they're not having a backdrop that is appropriate to help them make that decision. And the backdrop needs to be profitability, or at the very least revenue growth and how much revenue that's generating, because you might have a way to, if you get to certain volumes, get better margins. But that's where I would encourage you to, that's how you'll ultimately know if what you're doing is working or not, is backed against the actual profitability. And for any listener listening to this, if you don't know if your campaigns are producing profitability or not, that's your fundamental issue, because you cannot, to really win in business, you have to execute at 100% with confidence, and you'll never execute at 100% with confidence if you do not know your numbers. And you got to know your numbers, and it's not a perfect thing. Even Reminder Media, where we're at with 300 employees, we still struggle with the same thing. I mean, Josh and I talk all the time. How do we not know if this is what we should do or not do? And it's got to be against the backdrop of profitability. And sometimes you sacrifice short-term profitability for long-term profitability. So in business, as you grow business. So it's not that it has to be profitable absolutely in day one if you have a road to profitability. But most of the time for small business, lead with profitability, because in small business, it's very hard to shoot for 5 years. Like Amazon lost money for 17 years. You don't have the ability to do that. So
I don't think I got 17 years to lose.
yeah.
But if I turn out to be $1 billion company, I'll let you know. Yes.
Yeah. Please do.
Megan, thanks so much for calling in. Okay. Take care.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks, man. Bye.
All right, there you go. Make sure to get your questions answered here live on the podcast. You can go to remindermedia.com/ask. Our guest today, we're going to call in here, Roseanne. Roseanne is calling from California, I believe. So Roseanne's got to be early for you. Roseanne's in real estate. Welcome to Stay Paid. Roseanne, how can we help you?
Hey, Roseanne, can you hear us?
Yes. Hey, good morning. How are you? Let me get on camera. Hi, guys.
Hey.
Good morning. It's
Hey.
nice to be here.
Good morning.
How
It's nice to meet
are
you too.
you?
We are
Good morning from
fantastic.
sunny California. How are you? Hi, Cody.
Hi.
We're fantastic, and it is 70 degrees in Philly today. So we are thankful because I'm telling you, we needed some California sunshine this way. Otherwise, we were going into a dark depression. It was going to be a dark place, Roseanne. but we are thankful.
No, it's crazy. I'm a sunshine person. I'm also licensed in Hawaii, so I go back
Oh,
and
wow.
forth.
Wow.
So yeah, it's like,
Did you just
okay,
call
Martin.
in to make us jealous? Did you just call in to make us jealous of your life?
Yeah.
That's
oh
right.
no, but it's been really hot out here. We've had some really hot weather. In fact, I have a listing in Palm Springs that I'll be out there this weekend.
Love it.
So I'm hoping that it's not like way too hot, but the client is a longtime investor friend, so I get to
Okay.
spend the night at the listing and just relax a little bit. So
Oh,
yeah, but it's
amazing.
it's really great to meet you. I watch your podcast. I use Reminder Media. I'm really, really honored to be here.
Thank
So
you.
thanks
Man,
for having me.
yeah,
Yeah.
we're excited to have you, and thank you so much for one being a client and a listener. What can we help you with? Like, what's the blocker in your business right now as you see it? What can we help you with?
So I have been in business, gosh, 30 years. And I am a productivity coach at my office at Keller
Okay.
Williams in Irvine. So I coach new agents.
Love it.
And I use Reminder Media for my magazines, my digital branding, my email things. And I must say, my clients love it. So they say,
Thank you.
hey, we save those recipes, or they'll text me a
Yeah.
picture of me on the cover and say, oh, you're a superstar. So, I've been doing it maybe almost a year now, and it
Okay.
really has worked for me. But my business all these years has been my sphere.
Yep.
Okay. And so primarily my sphere, and my question is, as a seasoned, well-established agent, I really don't do farming or outside lead gen, online lead gen. And what would it look like for me to put together a plan that doesn't cost me a Porsche payment every
Yeah.
month, you know, and that reaches the right people,
Okay.
it's tough here in Southern California right now. People are staying in their houses longer.
Yep.
Farming's a little harder. I walk my neighborhood. I know all my neighbors.
Oh,
I
nice.
one of my neighbors is an investor. He owns 7 houses in the neighborhood. I met him mowing the lawn.
Oh, wow.
So
Okay.
so
You're
I
already a
I
farmer. You're just not doing it with maybe marketing
yeah,
collateral.
yeah. It's more organic and
Yep.
social for me.
Okay.
Yeah, it's more organic and
Can
social.
you give us a little picture into a couple things about your business? One is like, how many transactions do you usually do a year, or volume? So that gives us an idea of like what your marketing budget should be and kind of where to guide you.
Yeah, usually I'm doing anywhere between 7 and 12. It just really
Okay.
depends. I'm not a big superstar agent, but in my market, that 7 to 12 can be, $7 million
That's
kind of.
amazing. Yeah.
So our average house in SoCal is going to be, 1.2,
That's
something
amazing.
like
Wow.
that. I mean,
Cody,
I
what's your
live,
average? 280 or?
yeah. So,
Yeah, it's
in my
280.
where are you, Cody? What area are you in?
Central Virginia.
Okay.
So
I lived in
Lynchburg,
Virginia
Virginia.
Beach. Yeah,
Oh,
I
Oh,
lived
yeah.
in Virginia
awesome.
Beach.
You're always
Yeah.
near the water, it sounds like. Smart
Yeah,
lady.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I love Virginia Beach. I have my license there. I let my license lapse there, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
but
okay, so you're doing around 7 million or more volume a year, depending. How big is your database right now? Like
my
how big
date
is it?
my database that I send to my Reminder Media magazines is small, 50 people that are
Yep.
just in my core group that get the magazines. I always order extra to give to my hairdresser or carry them in my car to give to
Do you
people
have
around
more
town.
people in
But
your
yeah,
database in
but
general?
my
Like how big is that?
database, it's probably about 1,200, something
Love it.
like that.
Well,
1,200, yeah, something. And then my phone, I'm text heavy.
okay.
So, on New Year's Day, I'm texting everyone Happy New Year and making appointments to have lunch. And
Okay.
that's kind of my sphere database. Hey, how's it going? What can we do? So I guess my biggest challenge would be, what does that outside marketing look like to people I don't know?
Yes, that makes sense. Well, one thing I will point out, and then we'll get into outside marketing, just want to make sure you see it as well, is that your 1,200 in your database, there's give or take 84 transactions that will take place over the course of a year with that size of a database. So there is a lot of opportunity still within your
My
database. And so,
database.
and you're very, very good at relationships. I can already tell, right? And getting to know people. So, part of like true coaching that I would give to you is go, I actually think you could double down on your prospecting outreach to your 1200, but it's going to feel like almost like you're lead generating because of course those 1200 you don't know closely and you haven't maybe talked to them in years, and so it's almost going to
Right.
be like lead gen except you have already some intros that you can give, a simple text message, a simple DM message on social, and reach out to them doing a call campaign just to catch up. So I would put that kind of note as I would actually start there if I were
Okay.
you, versus going to straight anonymous people to grow your database. Because in essence, you're trying to grow your database so you can get the 7% that transact every year. I mean, that's what you're
Absolutely.
ultimately trying to do.
Yeah.
So
That
on that,
makes real good sense.
yeah. So on that vein, you want to have things that help you reach out to those 1,200 people. So, I'm assuming, are all 1,200 located near you? The majority of them, obviously, you probably have a few hundred that are maybe across the nation by now, but
We're across the nation. Most are here in SoCal. I have
okay.
a big base from school. I'm also an artist. That's my side
Okay.
hustle.
Oh,
So,
love that.
and then I've just done networking for so long that,
Yeah.
it's
So
just,
you need a reason to reach out. Like that's your real, okay, I haven't
yeah,
talked to these 1,200 in years potentially. How
yeah,
do I reach out to them? Two things, and Cody, Josh, you can throw in whatever you guys think. Two things that pop to my mind immediately is one is the authentic reach out that's very transparent, which is I'm actually going through all my contacts and relationships, kind of doing some spring cleaning, and I realized, oh my gosh, I haven't talked to you, Josh, in years. I just want to send you a text and check in and see how you're doing. It's so true, so authentic, starts the convo, and it's an easy reason to reach out because you're
I love that.
cleaning your database, and it's basically free. The second thing that pops into my mind is a event. So throwing a client event, and now you have a reason to invite everybody. Now it's terrifying because like, I'm going to invite 1,200 people. That might cost me, but not nearly everybody is going to come. Probably majority won't come, but it gives you an easy way to invite. But you're going to have to choose an event that is that kind of like is cost effective, I guess. And I'm not. I would have to think through. Maybe it's renting like a doing an ice cream trucks type social, and you rent out that for a day, and that's like a set type of price people can come and roll through. I would have to think to
Yeah.
like if you're going to invite 1,200 people, I don't know if you have any thoughts on the event,
My
Cody. You
idea,
guys do
Yeah.
that.
be living in Southern California, and I'm a photographer on the side. That's my side hustle, and I photograph a lot of events in Newport Beach on boats.
You could
So
offer
it's
free family photos. You,
yeah, free family photos, yeah,
yeah,
Great
free
idea.
free free portraits, or put everybody on a boat and have a party,
yeah, you could. Yeah, sure. I love
and
that.
that
Can you
That one
invite? Can
probably.
sounds
you
a little more
add
expensive,
me to
but
your
yeah.
database?
And I've been thinking about it, and you just kind of ignited the light bulb. But that's something that wouldn't be more than a few $1,000s. When you look at
Yeah.
your marketing budget, and everybody gets to eat at the taco bar, and they get 3 hours out on the water and get to mingle and meet with each other. That would probably be my best idea.
Yeah, I love
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. I mean, I think the event is the no-brainer because what we say is like we actually don't care if anyone shows up because the part isn't them showing up. It's the opportunity to reach out twice, calling them 2 months before, the month, like the week before, the text message, the email, like all the contacts you're getting just from one event is well worth the spend, depending on how much you're going to spend to do that. But yeah, and then I like, yeah, either one. I mean, if you want to spend the money on the boat, I think it's a great idea. But I really like that photography idea because it's who you are. Like that's a piece of
Yeah,
you, and it makes a lot of sense. Like, of course you would do that. You're in photography; it's an easy thing for you to talk about, and you can really correlate like when you're calling your story of like what you like to do with photos. So it becomes
yeah, I
really
like that.
real.
Yeah.
I
But
like
either
that
one's a
idea.
great idea.
And then
The
what I would,
park would be cheaper. I could
yeah,
put, you
yeah,
know, just go to the park, invite everybody
free
for a big
family, exactly,
hoedown, free
I would
exactly.
family
do, or at least for your
photos. That would
first
probably
one.
be great.
Your first one, I would, just because like you're gonna have some kinks in it because you haven't done it before.
Yeah.
And so I would keep it on the cheaper side for your first one at least. And then if it's a hit, do the other one in the summer or whatever have you. But we typically, our play is we do 4 events a year. Just because every quarter that gives us touch points that we can call quarterly on our events to have a friendly conversation. And then obviously things come up in that. And it's also a way to show appreciation. So it's such a benefit. But my advice would start with a cheaper one first, play it because you're gonna find out what you like, what you don't
Tweak
like,
it.
and
Yeah,
then
yeah.
throw the bigger one, and then people are used to it, and you can even build up. Hey, I've got another one coming. It's gonna be a big, thing on a boat. It's gonna be a lot of fun. And you can kind of like prep them to now always expect that, hey, Roseanne's gonna have these events every year, and then it starts, being a thing.
And one of the
Starts
best
growing.
things,
Yeah.
Roseanne, about the event is when you call Josh, who you haven't talked to in a year, you can say, well, invite him, say, I can't believe, you could almost combine the two, I was doing some spring cleaning. I'm inviting people. I want to get together with people and wanted to invite you. We haven't talked in a while, catch up, and then go, hey, I want to make sure I have the right email for you. I want to make sure I have the right address to send you
Yeah.
the information. And it's so natural. It's not like I'm trying to sell you. It's like, yeah, I want to get you the information for the event. So I have your email as Josh Stike at, remindermedia.com. Is that still your email? And boom, now you can update the emails for every
Yeah.
phone call that you make or the text message that you're sending. So I would start there because there's 84 give or take transactions. If you look at like 7% transact annually, usually from a database. You just got to find them. That's the hard part, right? You got to find, well, who are the 84 or, give or take that are going to transact. And you're doing 7 to 12 transactions. So it is not far fetched to believe you could go to 14 transactions. Not easy, but they're there if you do
A
the
little more
activity.
effort.
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
there
A
if you
little
do the
more effort.
right. So
Yeah.
then if we were giving you, so that's where I would actually suggest you do spend your time, energy to get to
Advice.
the genesis of your actual like ask of like, well, what should I do from a marketing perspective to build my database? You can do farming, which is, traditionally picking a geographic zip code or, a niche demographic. Maybe you want to work with certain price points or certain types of buyers. And you can do that. That is a long-term play, and it usually takes
Yes.
years. It usually takes 18
Yes.
months to 24 months to even get it going. So
Yes.
you are going to be spending, and I always tell people you need 1 touch a month minimum. Goal is to get to 2 touches. So you have to think about, well, how many people could I hit to afford to mail them a mailer, a postcard once every month, and that would be there. The way Acree Brothers has done it, we do open houses, builds the database massively. So, I don't know if you have open houses you can run
I
for people.
do. I
Okay.
do.
So, I mean, if you run an open house a weekend, you're going to build your database. Number 2 would be Google ads and Facebook ads is what now those are low conversion. Google is going to be what, Cody, probably 4%,
It's 3
5%.
4%.
Yep.
Facebook's like 2 3.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've done those before, and it can get frustrating.
Yeah. It just takes a
It's
lot of
just like,
calls and a lot
yeah,
of
it
nurture.
does.
Well,
Average
and I
calls.
think I
Go
think
ahead.
you would really love the events too. And that's a big piece of it. Like what's something you're actually going to do and love it and do it over and over. And I
Yes.
think your personality, the events is and you've already got like if you didn't have a big database, I probably would say, hey, this might not be the play yet. Build your
Yeah.
database up. So you've got already, 1,200 in there. I mean, this is, I think the play to go with is what I would focus on at first.
Yeah.
My encouragement is just don't be discouraged by the amount of people that show up because
Yeah.
we had 206 people register for our pie event, and we had probably like 120, maybe 100 actually show up. So you're just going to have about a
Good though.
about
Yeah.
a 50% show up rate. But then we
Yeah.
had the opportunity to then go hand deliver them and reach out and say, hey, you didn't get your pie. Can I come bring it by? So, and again, it's all about the opportunity of talking. Because when we talked to thousands, literally thousands of people through this pie event, and that was because of the pre-communication.
Yeah. Love that.
Yeah. And for me, it's been a lot of, oh, I have 2 events to go to on one night. Which one should I go to? And I'll make a executive decision, and that decision ends up where I'm going to get a couple of people who are ready to do something,
Let's go.
because putting it in front of my insurance agent or whatever that looks like, it's been more small, intimate groups, or I was doing girls champagne events.
I
And
love
so
that.
I'm Italian, I make lasagna, and
Wow.
I'll go buy a bunch of
I
champagne,
wish
and
I
it's
wish
like,
I was your client. I
I
can
know.
go
We're
on
going
boats,
both
eat
of it,
lasagna.
champagne. Yeah, homemade lasagna.
so
Jeez.
yeah, it's worked for me
Still
because
do
it's
those.
something
Still
I enjoy.
Yeah, still do those
Yeah.
intimate events. Those are even better. But remember the premise of your ask is like you have good business from your current database, but it tends to be too small. But you have 1,200 that you really need to
Need to
engage.
look at.
So
Yeah.
this event is really about engaging the 1,200. That's
Right.
really what this
Yeah.
event that you're
Yeah.
gonna plan and execute. It's almost a lead gen strategy. Of,
Right.
I
Yeah,
gotta
that's a great
go.
idea.
I got to go re-engage these 1,200. And then if you go to a Google or a Facebook, you've done it before. It's just so everybody listening has the numbers. Cody said it. Facebook's 1 to 2% conversion, 10 months on average to convert. Sometimes a little more, sometimes a little less. And then, I think the last time we checked, it was like 18 calls to appointment or something like that. So it's heavy
Yeah.
calls, low conversion, but
Yeah.
it builds your database. We'll spend $20,000 to $25,000 in a year on Facebook ads, get 1,800 to 2,000 leads. But you're going to close 20 to 30 deals in that range. At least that's Acree Brothers numbers, that type of
Right.
Yeah.
range.
And how does the ROI look on that?
I mean, it's actually very solid if
Yeah.
you don't probably factor in time.
Right. If you're not factoring in
Got it.
times,
Yeah.
Because you have
exactly.
sweat equity, right? So is it the best
Right.
use of your time? Absolutely not. Referrals are the best use of your time. Running an open house is a better use of your time.
Yeah.
But most of us, this is what I always laugh with agents is they're like, I don't want to do this. It's not a good use of time. I said, perfect. So you're calling for referrals all day. That's what you're doing. It's like you and I both know you run out of people to call by 10 o'clock and you twiddle your thumbs and go do operational stuff that doesn't generate you money. What you have to do is actually go do the activity that's more of the grind so you can have more better opportunities. And that's where, as you know, you're a productivity coach. That's where agents fail is they keep thinking like Acree Brothers, we don't want a single agent to ever call a cold lead. But the only reason we do is because we don't have any more warm leads to call.
They don't have anyone to speak to.
Yeah, so we got
Yeah.
to go cold to try to get the bucket of warm bigger. And that's where most people fail is they stop and we don't.
Yeah, and it's interesting when I'm training new agents or even interviewing a new agent, and I'll say, "Well, why did you want to get into real estate?" And recently, one young man, he was real cute. He's 19, and he's got a lot of potential. And he says, "Well, I want to wear one of those fancy suits." And I laughed so hard, and I said, "Well, what are you going to do to get that fancy suit? What are the activities that you're going to do?" And I think that's the biggest thing is do the work, right?
Mhm.
Do the work, take the time, and sit and I'll be sitting in front of my phone texting after my training class today. So
I love that.
Sweet.
I interviewed a guy the other day when I was writing this book on teams for the industry, and it's a team leader, and we were talking about recruiting, and he said something that was really great. He said, everybody will tell you what their goal is. Your job is to explain to them what their life will look like to get that goal. And he said most people want, make $300,000 a year, but they don't understand what life looks like to make $300,000 a year. And they don't want that life. They don't want that type of activity. They don't want that type of work that it will take. And so your job almost is to try to explain to people, hey, if that's what you want, here's usually what life looks like for people who have that. Do you want that
absolutely,
life?
yeah,
And I thought
absolutely,
that
and
was powerful.
it's also about the focus too, because with us at Keller Williams, Gary Keller's no slouch, and I'll teach the one thing. It's like, what is your one thing that you're going to focus on that's going to drive your business forward today?
Yes.
And I think that's when people get glassy eyed. The one thing isn't lying on the beach or
Yeah,
sitting at
we all like to
Starbucks.
believe that there's a magic formula out there, and
Yeah.
that's why we all get shiny object syndrome. But I can tell right away. I mean, obviously, phenomenal personality. You've been in the business 30 years. You know how to do this and build relationships. I think you just need to push harder into your sphere because
Thank you.
you can go from 7 to 14 pretty easily, I think, if you just up your activity.
Sure.
And client events would be the way I would up that activity if I was you.
Sounds great. I'm going to do that. I think I'll plan like a late spring, fall portrait session for
Yes.
April, and do like spring and fall portraits in the park. I think that's a great start.
Yep. Love
Great.
it. Roseanne,
Love
thank
it.
you so much. Let's connect on Facebook, or we can follow each other
Absolutely.
on
It's
Instagram.
great to meet you guys. Have a
Yeah.
great day.
Great
I'm
meeting
glad
you.
it's
Thank you.
warm for
Thank you.
Take
Yeah.
care. All right.
Thanks.
All
Bye.
right. Bye-bye.
Yeah, she's awesome. So great personality. Just great connector.
Built
Warm.
for client events. 100%.
Yes.
Such a good personality. You can get your questions answered live here on Stay Paid. Go to remindermedia.com/ask, and we will get you scheduled here on the show. If you want to get hold of me or Luke, email us podcast@remindermedia.com. Please follow us on social media. We're at Stay Paid Podcast. For this episode of Stay Paid, I'm Josh Stike.
Guys, I'm Luke Acree. Hey, the difference between top producers and mediocre producers is top producers take action. Take action on something you heard today.